Hello, my name is William James. I am the host of The Board Book Geek. All of my links are in the doobly-doo. I'm a massive Zelda geek, to the point that I've played all the games so far, barring the ones that seem to be unattainable. There's 3 of them, but that's a whole different video. I've read all the manga. And I want to talk about some books that remind me of the Legend of Zelda series, so that's what this video is. Here are some books that remind me of the Legend of Zelda, and I think if you're a fan of Legend of Zelda, you need to read these. Feel free to get in touch. You can find me on social media, and you are more than welcome to hit me up in my public email address. So, let's start the show. Like, subscribe, and off we go. So, the first book in this is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is probably the most Zelda out of all of them. It's the story of adventure. It's very episodic. It's a children's book. But it sets the tone for what's to come. Bilbo Baggins, the Shire, Gandalf, all of this story, and it's such a charming, sweet, innocent little book. Great adventure, great action, but it's exactly what you need. It's definitely worth picking up and definitely worth reading, and it's a nice intro to Tolkien's work. It is pretty, and definitely shows off his strong writing. It's also one of those books that's a classic for a reason. It's just a gorgeous little adventure, and you can read it chapter by chapter, and each, other than sort of a continuing crescendo with the final chapter, everything is basically what it is. So, that is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. You can get this book in ebook. Audiobook is stunning. There are hundreds on the market, I'm sure of it. You can get it physically, you can get it in hardback. There are countless special editions. Avoid the movies like the plague, but this is The Hobbit. I'm kind of cheating here. Anything by Jared Robinson. His Underworld series is this beautiful, big, epic fantasy. It's great fun. There's a lot set in this world. The Academy ones are great, then the Nightblade epic is great. These are stunning books and beautifully written. I can gush about his work. He is a phenomenal writer. And you can get these books in pretty much every format imaginable, including some beautiful hardback editions, as well as ebook, audio, and many other things. If you check out his website, you can even get some t-shirts, which are kind of cool. But yeah, every one of his books is this big adventure and these well-written characters and these, I know I'm cheating my own list here, but anything by this guy is worth picking up. He draws from the Tolkien style of epic big fantasy, but brings it into, I'd put him quite near Brandon Sanderson in terms of world building. So that's always good, and I think fantasy is often made broken or built by its world building. And this is just phenomenal, with great characters to boot. So that's Anything by Jared Robinson. Stardust by Neil Gaiman. A phenomenal writer. Neil Gaiman has a voice unlike many others. He's got wit, a sense of humour. He's very British in his humour, which I appreciate. And he's a phenomenal writer. Stardust basically follows Tristan falling in love with a girl. Kind of all goes wrong, and then he ends up following a shooting star into a magical town over the wall, and just the sort of bizarre adventure that he goes on. And this is such a beautifully written, fun book. I love Gaiman's style. I love his voice. I've talked about Gaiman so much on my channel, there's very little I can add to the discussion on him. He's up there as like one of my favourite writers ever, and it shows. So, yeah, it reminds me of Zelda for that reason, this kind of epic, quirky adventure with memorable characters set with the love story, but it also stands beautifully on its own. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. You're either going to love these or hate these. These are children's fantasy. They're very much inspired by Christian mythology. They are whimsical and sweet, and I read them in the story order. Start with The Horse and the Boy and then move forward. The Magician's Nephew, sorry. Start with The Magician's Nephew and then move forward. They are great little books. They're short, easy reading, but they are old school adventure with swords and sorcery and talking lions and ice queens and epic galleons and battles and just perfect escapism reading. They are great fun. I adore the Chronicles of Narnia. Are they perfect? No. Are they great fun? Yes. And if you want that whimsical fantasy adventure set against backdrops that are just indescriptive pretty, you will have that with these books. The Chronicles of Narnia remain children's classics for a reason, and they're always fun to revisit even as an adult, because as an adult there's a few things in there that only an adult will ever get.